But without further ado, I would like to introduce our other guest host today. I'm going to start to the left of me, Mr. Terrell Simmons.
That's right, Mr. Terrell Simmons. And I don't even know if I intro with the career thing anymore. 'Cause we want to talk about a little bit of everything that's
Yeah, right?
affecting our community, our black and brown community, gets us straight to the issues and seeing how we can evolve together because we all in this thing together, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And my name is Clinton James, your local real estate broker. As usual, all often
He's
imitated,
rusty.
never duplicated. I've been out. I've been out. People.
He's
I've
rusty.
been out.
And Raquel, we ain't forget about you because we're going to say the best for last with the intro. We'll have Mike introduce himself.
What's going on, peeps? It's Michael Dunn, CEO of Decade Financial Solutions, aka Mike the Money Guy. Credit needs, all those good needs. And it does feel good to be back. So we'll go ahead and take it back.
Awesome. Now, Clinton, you brought in a beautiful guest with us today. And not only does she have beauty, but she has brains too.
Yes.
And she's very involved in the San Diego community. And she has a lot of things, positive things going on. We met some years back when you were running Lemon Grove. And you just continue to do a lot of great things. So, Clinton, tell us who we have with us today.
Well, today our special guest, our special beautiful guest today, is a pivotal woman in San Diego County. And if y'all don't know, her name is Raquel Vasquez, and we have to call her by her right name, which is Mayor Raquel Vasquez of Lemon Grove.
Get her
Woo!
right.
Right. So I met Raquel through similar friends in business and in real estate, and I would have to tell you, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. I'll leave some of the nuggets for her to give you, but she carries a lot of accolades here in San Diego, and above all that, what I'm impressed about Raquel is her work ethic.
Love that.
If you know this lady here, she has a work ethic of more than what I've seen. Number one, and she's going to tell you all the different jobs she has and all the different things that she has to do in San Diego as a mayor in Lemon Grove, and I can't wait to get into this interview with her.
Well, thank you so very much for having me here today with you. It is truly a joy to join in the conversation and to speak about all things Lemon Grove. I want to, kind of take a step back here and just mention. Now, you said that we met some time ago. Do you remember what we were talking about? Because I do. We were talking about property located off of 69th Street.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I was working for Bayview Community Development Corporation. This must have been around 2013 or so.
And we had an in-depth conversation about the property and opportunities and what it could be. And I remember that. So I just wanted to let you know. Nevertheless, in 2013, I served as a council member, a first person of diversity elected to the city council.
Love that.
Yes.
Nice.
Come on.
Yes, clap it up for that.
Nice.
And by the request of the people that live in the city, I ran for mayor in 2016, and I won, becoming the first African American woman mayor elected in all of San Diego County.
Yes.
And while the journey was remarkable, it's an honor to serve and to work and to be a part of the conversation to set policy. You see, when things happen in a community, sometimes we get upset, we get loud, we're on social media, we may get some news coverage about the topic at hand, and then it disappears. And there's a repeat, and another repeat. One thing that I know is that while that is necessary to elevate the conversation, what's important is that we have people sitting at the table to make policy. Not only to, and policy is essentially the law. Not only to craft laws, but to revise laws And truth be told, the real change happens at the table. And they have this saying, if you're not at the table making the laws, setting the laws, then you're on the menu.
Oh,
Speak
yes.
talk that
Okay,
talk.
speak on it.
So if you're not at the table, you're at the menu. You're on the
You're
menu.
on the menu.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
I like to tell people I am not a tasty snack.
No. No, I love that analogy. So, I mean, I'm starting to see from our community more you like being a trailblazer and paving the way for like people like Monica Montgomery to come in and get a seat. Like, what do you say to those young girls that are looking up to you? How do we actually get a seat at the table? What do you think was the catalyst that made you successful into getting your seat and being able to do some of the great things that you're doing now?
Well, to be honest with you, my journey, it had absolutely nothing to do with the table or setting policy or even leadership. My journey began volunteering in the community, helping out with community cleanups, hearing the conversations that my neighbors were having, helping out and serving on boards and commissions for the city, which led to an opportunity to run for city council. And it was at the request of the people, knowing my commitment to service. That was my passion, service in the community, that elevated this opportunity to run for public office.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2010, I had many community members approach me and say, hey, you should run for city council and we'll
Yeah.
vote for you. And I talked with my family. And at that time, you know, I had this saying, LIG. You know what that stands for?
No.
Life is great. And so I did not run in 2010, but more and more community members reached out to me, asked me to run. I ran in 2012, and that catapulted me into a role of leadership. And so, truly, what speaks to my heart is community service and helping people. And when I talk with young people, I talk about their passion.
Yeah.
And I talk about, you know, I ask the question, what is the one thing that you do that's super easy for you, but maybe not for someone else?
Right.
Guess
Ooh,
what that
that's a
is?
great question.
That's your gift. That's your gift. And it's important that you recognize that gift, your natural born talent.
Yeah.
You take that, you cultivate that, and you turn that into a career.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. That I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Like-
That is it's such a simple question, but it's powerful.
It is.
Yeah, I love
Because
that.
let me tell you, I cannot sing. But there are many people, young and older and even very seasoned, who have that ability. But I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not creative, like artistically. But there are many people who can take a blank canvas and create something that's just visually amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot. But you know what I can do really well? Help out in my community and
Serve.
be a part
Service.
Absolutely.
of the conversation
awesome.
to shape the future, to support a vision. And I heard you say, you know, hey, 2020, it's the vision. It's all about the vision. And when I thought about this new decade, I said, wow, vision. In 2020, vision is crystal clear.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And in whatever you do, I feel as though it's important that you be focused on that vision now. For the city of Lemon Grove, I know that the people, they want a clean, safe, and business-friendly city offering arts, culture, and recreation for everyone to enjoy.
I love
Nice,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And as I'm sorry to cut you, but as we go in to your reflections on what you have accomplished in the city of Lemon Grove, let people know some of the titles that you carry in San Diego. So right now we know you're currently the mayor of Lemon Grove, but what's some of the other titles that you carry in San Diego?
Well, the most important title that speaks to my heart is not only am I the mayor of a city, but I'm a mom.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
come on.
Nice.
All right.
And I am a mother of two young, amazing women who are 19 and 26.
Nice.
And they discovered what their passion was. And while it's not similar to mine, they're doing amazing things in their area of interest. But I'm also a wife
Yes.
to a man, and I've been married 26 years, who served 24 years in the United States Navy with honor, courage, and commitment. And so I bring these two things forward because family is very important to me. And I believe that, when I prioritize things, that's on the top of my list. Now, when it comes to the work, oh my, I embrace opportunities and opportunities to serve. So I currently serve on SANDAG, and SANDAG is the organization that manages the fundings to support transportation options throughout San Diego County, connecting all parts. And it is a very dynamic group of mayors and county board of supervisors who make decisions on what type of transportation will exist in the future. And
Wow.
so that's major.
Yes, it is.
Because you have to, in any community, residential community, business community, you have to have transportation to flow through. Number one, to carry goods and services, but number two, so that people can get to and from work and school and home.
Right.
So that's very vital to San Diego County. But, I also serve on other boards and commissions that are tied to this role of leadership. And I mentioned SANDAG because it's one of the most important committees here in the county. And so there's the League of California Cities. And it's an organization that essentially looks at policies that are set at the state level. So we're talking assembly bills and Senate bills, and there are discussions among mayors representing all cities throughout the state of California. And the League of California Cities, they essentially take the sentiment of the mayors forward in support or in opposition of a particular assembly bill or Senate bill.
I love that.
Well, we got a lot to unpack
Yeah,
in
we
this
do.
in the show tonight.
and we definitely want to go on more to the things that you're trying to accomplish here in San Diego and your thoughts of what's going on nationally and even internationally with our current politics, because this is an election year.
It is.
But before we do that, we do want to take a quick commercial break. We got to pay the bills here. You're listening to Let's Talk About It, and we'll see you in a few moments.
If you're an artist that needs artwork, social media designs, or marketing designs, such as emails, newsletters, or EPKs, rush orders are no problem. They guarantee a 48 to 72-hour turnaround on any design. AN1 Services is your one-stop shop. Check them out at www.an1services.com. That's services.com.
GOD Radio 1 is launching a commemorative advertisement opportunity to sponsor a moment in Black history, all during the month of February. At a low rate of $50, you can record a 60-second commercial that will air throughout the entire month of February on all our radio platforms, GODRadio1.com and K-Praise on AM and FM. To sponsor a moment in Black history and honor the amazing contributions that Africans and African Americans have contributed to the world we live in, simply contact us at 858-251-6111, extension 505, or email agwilliams@mandaterecords.com. Again, email agwilliams@mandaterecords.com.
Preferred Cremation and Burial presents Discover Your Roots, on February 1st from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Beret Event Center, located at 6406 University Avenue, San Diego, California 92115. Join historian and genealogist researcher Yvette Porter on an amazing journey into your ancestry. Let her experience and expertise show you where to start, how to find unexpected hiding places of rich information, ask questions, and get answers you've been longing for. Yvette Porter has been conducting research since 1991, a member of the San Diego African American Genealogical Institute. She is a paralegal, world traveler, and blogger. Yes, again, discover your roots on February 1st from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sponsored by Preferred Cremation and Burial. Hope to see you there.
Really cool, and I'm really glad that you decided to take the time out of your evening to be with us today.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. I am your co-host, Mr. William Ortiz, and today we have Mayor of Lemon Grove, Raquel Vasquez, and we are on Facebook Live. And if you are watching on Facebook Live, if there's any questions that you have for Mayor Vasquez, or even us who are sitting here, put that in the comment section, and we'll be happy to help answer it as best as possible.
Especially City of Lemon Grove, stand up, represent. We know you out there. Y'all got questions? Y'all want to know where the lemon tree's at? We will let you know.
And now, before we go into more of your what you're doing, I just have a important question to ask you.
Sure.
So I grew up in Lemon Grove School District. Went to Monterey Heights High School, Palm Middle School, rest in peace, it's no longer there. But there was always this myth that the lemon really had real lemons in it.
So ridiculous.
Well,
Is that true?
well, just a few highlights regarding the Lemon Grove lemon. It's actually recognized worldwide, and people actually put the Lemon Grove lemon on their bucket list.
Really?
So they'll
Really?
travel to San
Wow.
Diego County
To see the Lemon Grove lemon?
and to
That's
take
dope.
a picture to post on social media. So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know
it
it
is
was
recognized.
It's popular.
Yeah, right?
But the lemon is actually 91 years old,
Oh, wow.
and it was created to be part of a parade.
Mhm.
And after it was part of that parade, they decided to turn it into what it is today. The Lemon Grove lemon actually weighs 3,000 pounds.
Whoa.
So I guess we could say it's the world's heaviest lemon too.
Oh, wow.
Love that. Some fun facts.
There you guys go. Fun facts.
Yeah,
we
fun
go.
facts.
Lemon Grove.
Hey, you
So
know,
if you're out in Lemon Grove, take a picture in front of the Lemon Grove lemon, post it on your social media, and spread the word. I always tell people Lemon Grove is definitely a small city, and the people, we have big hearts, and we're noted for having the best climate on earth.
Really?
And I like to tell people the bottom line is we have appeal.
got
I like that. So,
Okay, I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
so on the topic of lemons, we actually can say, okay, well, you can change lemons into lemonade, right?
Yeah.
Now, with a lot of things you have done in Lemon Grove has changed the face of how Lemon Grove looks today. A lot of positive changes you've come in and you've done a lot of things, and we want you to expand on those things. So what are some of the major accomplishments you have accomplished in Lemon Grove?
Well, for those out there who are vested in the financial world, when I came on board as mayor for the city of Lemon Grove in 2016, an independent audit was performed, and it realized major discrepancies in the budget, where there were accounts set up that had money, some accounts didn't have money, staff was being paid out of gas tax and sewer fees, which is not okay. And we fixed those discrepancies. In 2016, our credit rating was a B minus. That's not good
Oh, no, it's not.
at all. And in the past 3 years, we've worked diligently to fix those discrepancies. One of the major discrepancies right now that we're working on is the fact that in putting all of the money in its proper category and utilizing that funding the way that it should be utilized, we have a structural deficit. And that deficit has been in place for many, many, many years. So if we could fix the structural deficit, and what I can tell you is today our credit score is a BBB plus.
Okay.
If we could
moving on
fix-
up.
Yeah.
moving up.
Moved up for that. Yep.
If we could fix that structural deficit, it is my belief that by the end of the year we could potentially have an A minus, minimum an A minus credit score.
Well, let me know. We can talk about it.
right. Right.
You know, Ms. Vasquez, I have a question for you. You know, something that I've been noticing just in general with like friends and people that I've been interacting with online, and maybe it's because a lot of us weren't paying attention a lot in school when we were learning about politics and learning about government. In your experience, having been given so many years to this work and this service, can you kind of summarize for us, like, what is the role of a mayor for the city? I noticed that even with like the presidential election, a lot of people don't even understand like how this impeachment process even works, and you know, and the accolades and things that you've accomplished are very powerful things that you've done, and I want the audience to kind of know, like, when they're looking at this and they're kind of measuring I guess you could say the performance of all of our public officials, I want them to be able to understand like what exactly is the role of the mayor, and how you've gone about executing that role.
Well, the true job description of a mayor is to, number one, oversee the budget
Okay.
and make sure that it is financially sound
All
while
right.
maintaining the quality of life within the community,
Ah.
making sure that potholes are filled
Yeah.
and that parks are clean and safe and that light fixtures are operational within communities, making sure that there's opportunity for business to flourish within the city based on zoning, making sure that, you know, a true vision is in place, but also the policy that you're putting together will support the vision. My opinion is that the vision should always be the vision of the people.
Love that.
The second part of that is ensuring that those services that any community needs, well, not any community, but specifically for Lemon Grove, making sure that those services are accessible by the people that we serve. And truly, that is the role, managing the budget, making sure that services are available, and then setting the policy to ensure that, you know, that vision is realized as well. So it's making the laws and watching the money.
Awesome. Now, I know the people of Lemon Grove are passionate about supporting you, and that's something that we
Thank you for
kicked
that.
off the show with. How do the people of Lemon Grove and people who are passionate about what you're passionate about and passionate about this city really take on the role to really support you and volunteer and get involved? Like, what are some things that ways that they can show up to meetings, if that's even possible? How do they get more involved?
Well, I advise people to, number one, connect with the city of Lemon Grove on social media. So that's Facebook, that's Instagram, but also too, go to the website and sign up for email updates. There's a form that you can fill out, and you can essentially express how you want to help Lemon Grove, and just check a box. I want to volunteer. I want to get notifications about city council meetings, or I want to serve on a board or a commission. And then show up. Show up to our
Right.
city council meetings.
Oh, they can
Look
just
at-
show up. They don't have to
Oh,
make an appointment.
absolutely.
or-
It's a public meeting.
Okay.
Because what we're discussing the budget and we're discussing policy. And it's important for community members to get involved in that discussion. That way, their point of view, their comments could potentially be incorporated into the law. We're making laws
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's going to impact people, not just for today, but we're talking about future generations.
Yep.
Future generations. And so, be part of the discussion. Be part of the change that's taking place in Lemon Grove. When we have special meetings and workshops, show up. In fact, this year, one of the major accomplishments in Lemon Grove is that while our city has been in existence for 41 years, it's a young city. The process to pave streets has been minimal. However, due to putting the money in the proper place and SB1 funding that we're getting from the state, that's the gas tax, we've been able to pave more streets. And so last year, we paved 5 miles of streets. That was the largest number of miles of streets that have been paved in the history of the city.
Wow.
Wow.
But guess what?
What?
This year, we're paving 10 miles of streets.
Woo!
Oh,
Come on, somebody.
okay.
Come on.
10
Come on.
miles
Yep.
of streets. And we're going to get it done by the end of June.
Right.
Wow.
All right.
So
And that's truly the
That's
people's
remarkable.
That
tax
is.
dollars
yes, at work.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
applying the money
Talk that
where it
talk.
should go
Yes.
Right.
so that people can realize the change. They'll feel it every
Yes.
time they drive down the street. So we're talking 10 miles. Now, that's not all of the streets in Lemon Grove. And there are many, many streets that have not received any attention for many,
For a long
many
time,
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
When you look at the city, there's a process in prioritizing streets.
Mhm.
And I didn't know this until I got involved. But and I hope this makes sense. It's important to prioritize streets where goods and services travel.
That makes sense.
So they're major thoroughfares, because if goods cannot get to where they need to go,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
tax dollars are not generated.
Yeah, we got a problem.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we got a problem.
We
That
got a
is.
problem.
Yeah.
Well,
Second are the major streets that have traffic. So it's the streets where people frequently drive to get to and from home and work and to pick up
Broadway.
their kids. Yes.
Lemon Grove Avenue.
So they are automatically prioritized because those streets help to move the city.
mm,
Streets that are not frequently frequently traveled, when you dive into communities
mhm.
where they may look, a little they may look as though they need a little TLC.
Yeah.
It's because they're lower on the priority list.
Understand.
However, knowing that we have this SB1 funding and it's designated for those highly traveled streets, and knowing that there's an opportunity for us to really put our budget in the black by passing a measure. This year, voters will be able to vote yes on S in March.
Yes on S. Huh?
Yes on
Yes on
S.
S, okay.
Save our city.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yeah.
Yes on
Or
S.
you can say sweeten Lemon Grove.
That's right. That lemonade. Like Beyonce, right?
Right.
that.
Sweeten Lemon Grove. And that will essentially put us in the black with our budget. We'll actually have some money left over. There will be an independent oversight committee in place to take a look at a line item in our budget that will spell out the dollars that are coming in. That committee is written into that measure, which will become the law, and they will make recommendations on how the funding will be spent in the community. It's an oversight committee of this funding that will come in from Yes on S.
Yeah.
Love that.
And so that requires community involvement.
Yes.
And this is the law, if it should pass.
And this is so important because you're talking about our daily lives.
Yes.
We're talking about how this affects what we do, where we go, where we choose to live. Because a lot of people base their community where they live is if it's updated, or the streets paved,
Right.
there's a curbside appeal,
Mhm.
or the school system's good. I mean, these are reasons why people choose to live in certain communities. And it sounds like to us is that you're creating a place where people ideally want to come to live and work and play.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And this is so awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it more. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and talk about more of the things that you're looking at accomplishing with your mayor candidate or mayor position with Lemon Grove.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Let's talk
Thank
about
you.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and I
Preferred
think,
Cremation and Burial presents Discover Your Roots on February 1st from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Beret Event Center, located at 6406 University Avenue, San Diego, California 92115. Join historian and genealogist researcher Yvette Porter on an amazing journey into your ancestry. Let her experience and expertise show you where to start, how to find unexpected hiding places of rich information, ask questions, and get answers you've been longing for. Yvette Porter has been conducting research since 1991, a member of the San Diego African American Genealogical Institute. She is a paralegal, world traveler, and blogger. Yes, again, discover your roots on February 1st from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sponsored by Preferred Cremation and Burial. Hope to see you there.
And other estate planning documents. Sometimes the most important questions when it comes to protecting your home and family assets are the questions you don't ask. The time is now to make decisions that protect your family in the unfortunate event of your death or incapacity. Don't let the probate process cause your family to lose your hard-earned assets and home. The Law Office of Antoinette Middleton is there to help with basic and sophisticated estate planning strategies, which includes special needs trusts for children and disabled adults, asset protection and succession planning for business owners, wills, revocable living trusts, and irrevocable trusts, which protects assets and avoids Medi-Cal estate recovery after your death. The motto at the Law Office of Antoinette Middleton is to plan while you can. Call the Law Office of Antoinette Middleton at 619-235-9501 or email the office at info@lawofficesofam.com. Avoid being stuck with harsh and arbitrary court decisions after your death or disability. Plan today.
I see you, Doug.
I want to focus on
Yes on S? All right.
Yes on S.
Let's do it.
Yes, welcome back to Let's Talk About It. We are talking politics here with Mayor Raquel.
yeah, get it right.
Get it right.
Get it right.
Get it
Some
together.
respect on the name, Mayor.
Get it together.
Put some respect on it.
Put some respect on it.
My
But,
guy.
Before we went to a commercial break, you were going on Yes and S, and I think Terrell has some really good questions you want to ask about it.
Because I want us to all be clear what Yes on S is. And I know sometimes when I go into that voting booth, I remember last year, the year before, man, they had a booklet about this thick, and they had all these initiatives, and I felt like I needed somebody to give me a tutorial on what all these different bills and measures were. Now, I know we talked about the tax measure on the ballot. Now, is Yes on S, is that the same thing? And then break down what this Yes on S is going to do for the people of Lemon Grove. It's going to put some extra dollars in my pocket. I'm going to get some, what am I going to get for this Yes on S?
Well, the one thing that I like to say to community members is that, Lemon Grove is our city.
Yeah.
It's our city. And the city is essentially an extension of your backyard. And so when you're investing in your community, when you're buying local, and when you're supporting, I'll give you this example. When you go buy gas, buy in your local community because the tax dollars go back to your community. And that's how we pave streets.
Really?
From the
Really?
gas? From
Yes.
the actual
So,
gas?
From the actual gas. So I know with my husband serving in the Navy, I frequently would go to the military base to purchase my gas because it was a penny or two cheaper. So I would drive 13 miles to save 2 pennies.
Right.
Okay. But in getting involved in government, I discovered that when you buy gas in the city of Lemon Grove, the gas tax comes to our funding, and we utilize that funding to pave streets
Oh,
and
I
to
did
fix
not know that.
potholes. And that's where the money comes from.
Okay.
And so when you invest in your own community, you're investing in your backyard.
Right.
Okay.
And in really sending that message forward in Lemon Grove, we've actually realized an increase
Mhm.
in gas tax
Okay.
Huh.
because people started buying their gas locally.
Well, Lemon Grove has pretty good gas rates anyway. So
Right,
I
yes.
mean, like
Right.
for
Yeah.
real, for real.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
want cheap gas? Y'all come to Lemon Grove.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come to the
Now-
lemon, baby.
Just know, Yes on S is the product of a tax measure.
Okay.
And knowing what the budgetary shortfall is for the city, again, it's a structural deficit. It's been in place for nearly 2 decades. Community members decided to walk a tax measure in the community to get 1,459 signatures.
Wow.
Oh
And
wow.
with their efforts, and the voter registrar gives you 6 months to obtain these signatures. The proponents and many volunteers worked diligently to secure 2,799 signatures in 2 months.
Okay. They
To
really
get-
wanted this on the ballot.
They
Right.
really wanted this on the ballot because they know and they understand the budgetary shortfall.
Yeah.
And knowing that we have a budgetary shortfall, we have to take care of our own house.
Right.
And they know that if this tax measure does not pass, then we're going to have some real conversations about our future. Those conversations could incorporate bankruptcy, but also the possibility to folding back into the county and no longer existing as a city.
Really?
And so the goal is to truly keep the city of Lemon Grove as an independent city. We want to be a city, and we can make sure that we are a city. And so they got the signatures, turned the signatures in, and then I was challenged by the opposition. So the measure went to court, and the judge ruled that ultimately this has to go on the ballot. And so there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for residents who are voters to determine what the future of Lemon Grove is going to be. And that is why we say yes on S. Save
Yes on
our
S.
city.
Save
Yeah.
our city.
Okay.
Sweeten Lemon Grove.
Yeah.
And so that's the backstory of this. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, yes on S, it has built-in accountability, and there are taxpayer safeguards. I talked about that oversight group who's going to make recommendations so you don't have elected leaders who are making the final say. Those recommendations are coming from residents, people who are volunteering. And with this particular measure, what is written in the language is a mandatory independent audit. So that will happen annually if it should pass. And this is local funding. Local funding that Sacramento cannot take away.
Huh.
Right.
So the tax dollars that are realized from this measure will stay in Lemon Grove.
Huh.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. And this particular measure will capture the leakage that is currently taking place with the state of California. So everybody loves to purchase online, right?
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That
And-
makes so convenient.
And you pay the tax, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, with the city of Lemon Grove, that tax that you pay, which is 7.75%, is going to the state of California.
But not Lemon
And
Grove.
it's not coming back to the city of Lemon Grove.
Huh.
And this measure will capture the money that is destined to come back to Lemon Grove, and it will help us balance our budget.
Oh wow.
I have a question, Ms. Vasquez. What this obviously this deficit is a real thing, and it's definitely something that needs to be not overlooked. What, in your opinion, what would be your guys' kind of projections, so to speak, to get this thing back on track with these types of legislations and with the help of the local community and people getting more involved? What in let's say a perfect world, how quickly could we get this thing back in the black?
Oh, as soon as we pass yes on S with the vote of the people, we will move forward with making plans to begin improvements in the community.
Yeah.
And while there are some ideas floating out there on how we can immediately start, the first step is to get this passed.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Get this passed.
and from what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm right or wrong, but it's more, in the election year, we always look at the leaders, the people who are in government and in Congress. But from what you're saying and what I'm learning here is that we have to get involved in our civic engagement in order to really have the changes come to us, right?
Yes.
So basically, you are in a position of, we appoint, well, you run an election, you get appointed, and you have the vision for the city, but it's the people in that constituent who determine by the involvement, determine how that vision actually plays out. So one of the things I want you to touch on is, what is your vision and what is your goal for 2020 for Lemon Grove?
One goal is, number one, to continue to bring community members together. Number two, to support efforts to make improvements in the city, and it's the improvements infrastructure-wise that the city truly needs. But that can't happen until we have the funding to do that. My goal is to make sure that we have an A credit score.
It's always good.
But also too, and it for me, I love community involvement. And I love to hear from residents and people. Often the greatest ideas come from people like you who speak up. And given the budget and the ability to create policy, the question is, how can we strategize and work together to really try and improve our city? And your idea just may be part of that process. One thing that is super important that I know of, and I'm going to segue a little bit here, because there's different funding sources for cities. One major funding source, it's a grant. And it could be a local grant, state grant, federal grant. And there are different criteria that are set for these grants. One thing that is super important in this moment, 2020, and vision, is the census. Making sure that everyone is counted. Because that will help you when you are applying for grants. Well, for me, and for the city,
Right.
to ensure that every person is counted. So, I will advise people to, if you're willing to work and help out with that process, to go online and get more information about that. I believe that there are actually jobs available to help count people.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging people to not only make sure that you're counted, but to help count others.
Real quick. So, not only are we talking about the importance of getting the right head count to make sure your city can get the right type of funding through grants, but we're also talking about job opportunities.
Exactly. And if you reach out to me, Facebook, social media, anywhere, we can get you that information. I can get you that information on the census, and they pay anywhere from $15 an hour to $21 an hour, and it's a good job. You're helping out the community. I'm not sure if they guarantee you all will be working in Lemon Grove, but just being a part of the process helps you get more educated, and you can educate your neighbor. And knowledge is power, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. because that's how we're gonna get to that yes on S.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Save our city. And if there is anything that I can say about how important it is to make sure that people are counted, is that some years ago when I was looking at the homeless situation and why we were unable to address the needs of those who are unsheltered. And I'm not just talking about Lemon Grove, I'm talking about countywide.
Yeah.
We were identified as number 4 on the list in terms of having the largest homeless population in the United States of America.
Oh wow.
That's huge.
However, when it came to federal funding, we were number 22
Wow.
on the list.
Okay, that's a discrepancy there.
There is a discrepancy.
Why is that?
People aren't
Counts.
being counted.
People are not being counted.
Yeah.
And so annually, they have the homeless count in January. Got to make sure that people are counted. But also the census, because what it does is it sets the stage for the next 10 years.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we can get the funding that's necessary to support the true needs, not only of Lemon Grove, but the entire county of San Diego.
Your husband's from the military.
Yes.
And one thing that I understand is sometimes people who are in the military from another state or another city or something may move to a new city such as San Diego, and when they do the census and they say, where do you live, a lot of times they do not count the city that they actually are currently living in. They count the city that they were born and raised in. So so for those individuals who, because I'm sure Lemon Grove has a lot of military families in that city, that they should be aware when you do the census and you want to see an improvement, count Lemon Grove as your city. You know, if you're from Alabama and you live or from Texas, count Lemon
You don't
Grove
live
as-
there anymore.
Yeah, you don't live there no more. Like, you want to put it here because it is, these grants can have such a major effect on the quality of life in that city.
That's right.
And I want to go back to allude to what we were saying about the homeless count, because I actually got a chance to participate in that this year. And I must say for the city of Lemon Grove and people who are listening to this, the homeless count is very different from the census count. And if you go into the county's website, you can get information on that, where they pick teams of volunteers. There's some people that are paid to go out and do it too, and so forth. And we need you to get involved with that too. And this year, what they've done is not only just count them, we go and see what the needs of the individuals that are homeless in that community. So it'll help the mayor when we get that count, when the county gets that count, and they see what the needs of the people that are residing in that area is homeless, to see what services need to be pushed into that general population.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the funding to
Yeah.
support the needs.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's important to make sure that all people are counted. And I like the fact that you mentioned with the military, you have your place of residency, but you still need to be counted here. It doesn't change your residency.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
Nah.
So yeah, I mean, so as we come into the last, I'll count down. One of the things I want to ask Mayor Vasquez is, how can we, number one, help you in accomplishing your goals?
Help us help you.
You're right.
Yes.
And this is not just for us, but for our audience too. How can we, as constituents of San Diego, with a passion for San Diego, help you? Number one, be reelected. Number two, with your goals for 2020. And number three, the things that you are passionate about on the ballot. How can we help you accomplish those goals?
Well, I think that there are 3 things that I'd like to share with you. Number one, as I am an African American woman,
Come on.
I am a huge supporter of ensuring that culture and diversity is shared within my city and that it's recognized. And one really cool thing that's happening in Lemon Grove is that we are going to have a Black History celebration during Black History Month.
Okay,
Come
on
on.
now. All right.
And so we'll have spoken word.
Okay.
We'll have drumming. We'll have African dancers, music, and art. Oh, and by the way, soul food.
Come on.
That's my
All
favorite
right.
kind of food right there.
Vendors and food trucks and just so much more. Now, this event is scheduled to take place on February 29th from 1 to 5 p.m. And it's going to take place at the Lemon Grove Promenade. So it's a linear park that's located right next to the trolley stop off of Broadway and Lemon Grove Avenue. So, again, you know, it's a Black History celebration, and it's going to take place on February 29th, 2020. And it's going to happen from 1 to 5 p.m. And I like to say, be there or be square.
Tell them now. Tell them.
And it's a
Second,
leap year too.
it's a leap year.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't forget that
So,
day.
Yeah.
so you know, we're saving the best for the last day of the month. Come on out and celebrate with us, and we would love to see you there. And you don't have to live in Lemon Grove to be part of this
Yes,
celebration.
it's so
Okay.
important.
That's
I
So
want to
important.
see. You say you want to know how to support. I want to see each and every one of you there.
Okay.
And I don't
I saw
know,
houses
correct
in
me if I'm
Lemon Grove.
wrong, but I don't know if a lot of cities around San Diego or towns in San Diego do this. The Black History Month events.
Well, one thing that I know is that we're doing it.
That's right.
Yeah, I was saying, 'cause I-
See, like, I don't know about the other cities, but I know,
But I know about
I
Lemon
know about
Grove.
the Grove.
Yeah,
I
the
like that. I
Grove.
like that.
That's good.
Secondly, it is truly my desire to get everyone involved in shaping the future of our city. So I encourage folks to get involved, to sign up for email updates, to help out at our community cleanups, to help paint art throughout our city, but also to come to our city council meetings and be part of the conversation. Our city council meetings are held on the first and third Tuesday at 6 p.m. The meeting is held in the Lemon Grove Community Center, and I would love to see you there. And finally, this is an election year.
Yeah.
And you know what that means, right?
right.
Okay.
I am running for re-election.
Yeah.
And
Woo!
and every vote counts.
That's
And
right.
every single vote counts. And so it is my hope that I will have support from you along with community members as we move towards the November election. And so this is a little early, but you know what? Sometimes you got to start early
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Start
that you
planting
don't
them
end up.
seeds.
Yeah, you got
right.
to start
And so
early.
for our listeners, not only need to think nationally about who they want to vote for,
but locally.
think
I
very
sometimes think you got to
locally.
think more locally than you do
You
nationally,
do.
because locally is what's really affecting you on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
Truly,
exactly.
It's
Because
really
we
important.
manage everything that you touch and feel
yeah,
every
on a
day.
daily, yeah,
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But the great part about local leadership is that there's an opportunity to hear your voice and to address your concern.
yes.
Mhm.
So, get involved,
Get involved.
be part of the process, be counted.
There you go.
Be counted.
See you on the 29th at our Black History celebration. And of course, support me for re-election to mayor of Lemon Grove.
Well, you got my vote.
And I'm gonna say,
And you can add me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat,
Oh,
How do we find you?
LinkedIn.
How do we find
Just
you?
type in my name, Raquel Vasquez, and I am there.
All
and,
right.
and I want to say leadership is very important, and I'm glad you got a chance to come here and express the things that you had to express. I want to thank Clinton for asking you to come here and being able to talk about the great things you've done and the great things you want to continue to do in Lemon Grove. And like I said, or like we all said, just don't think nationally. Locally,
Yes.
it affects you more. And we complain a lot about, presidential elections and Congress and everything else. And you actually have an opportunity to go to a city council meeting and make a difference where you're
And
at.
be heard.
And be heard.
Right.
Yes.
It's hard to do that in a national scale. You could do that where you locally live.
Yes.
So we're pretty close to signing out. Before we leave, there's one last thing that you would like our listeners to know.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for having me here today.
Oh, of course.
Okay, anytime.
And to be able to speak about all things Lemon Grove,
Yes.
but also how important it is to get involved and be part of the conversation. Just know that decisions that are made today are for your children and your children's children. And what you share is of value. So, again, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming.
My
Thank
name
you.
is
Yes, thank you
Raquel
for being here.
Vasquez,
Yes, thank you.
Mayor for the city of Lemon Grove.
Come on.
And you know what?
Come on.
4 more years.
4 more years.
4
more years.
Mayor Vasquez. All right. Before we sign off, I want to say thank you for tuning in. My name is William Bertice. I do home loans, so if you have any questions, give me a call at 619-484-2843. And you can reach me on Instagram and Facebook. Just say William Bertice and you'll find me. Where can our listeners find you?
Okay, Terrell, I'm your career guy. You can find me on Instagram at TARYELLS, on all the social media channels. If you need a career, you want to do what you love and love what you do, let's talk about it.
Yes, and I'm Clinton James, your local real estate broker. You can find me at 619-384-9269. Give me a call if you're looking for a house or you have any housing needs.
Mike the Money Guy, you already know what it is. 858-333-5559. We love y'all. Let's talk about it next week.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Good job.
Thank you.